Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Ritual Flow. For today's reading, we are doing a love reading for the sign of Scorpio. If you are a Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or North Node, there may be some messages here for you. This is a general reading though, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Not everything will resonate with everyone, and this is a timeless reading, so whenever you're seeing it is the right time for you to receive it. All right, let's see what's going on with your energy, Scorpio. Spirit, what can you tell us about Scorpio's love life, love interests, energies surrounding the experience of love? Okay. We've got the Hermit. And the Six of Wands. Ace of Cups, Nine of Swords, whoa. Okay, Five of Cups, the Hanged Man, the Seven of Cups, Page of Pentacles, the Sun. Let me get one more, please. Well, okay. Let's see. We've got Moonchild and the Lovers. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hierophant and the Page of Wands. So, Scorpio, you have been spending some time alone, sort of reflecting on yourself, going inward. And that's been very successful for you, very healing, very balancing between the polarities of the energy within you. You've learned a lot about loving yourself. And there's also this energy of, because of this work that you've been doing inwardly, that there's a new opportunity for external love coming about for you. And this is something that you're really having a lot of fears, doubt about. Like, you feel solid enough in yourself right now that the idea of introducing another person into that dynamic feels threatening in some way, feels a little bit overwhelming, feels like it threatens your own sense of security. But there's something about this that that feeling that you're feeling is actually the feeling of lacking that love. There's this energy coming through that it's because of whatever has happened in previous relationships. You're still feeling a little bit of some loss, some regret, some fear around past rejection, past things that didn't work out, things that were hurtful. And that's something you've just sort of put that off in the corner of your mind and sort of worked around it. in your healing. But now it's time to address that piece, because you're meant to have a deeper connection, not just within yourself, but like with another person, which, in a way is yourself outside of yourself. But yeah, you're being called to surrender those feelings of pain, of lack, to recognize that you have the option, you have the power, you have the choice to create whatever you want in your life. And that, like, if you feed this doubt and insecurity and like feed into being alone, then that's the isolation that you're going to create for yourself. But it's not going to ultimately bring you the happiness that you desire. Like, that wouldn't be a completion of the process that you're on in this life. Like, you create all of this joy inside yourself, for yourself. But the universe is calling you to have a reflection of that, like calling in a person that reflects that back to you. That the joy you can feel inside is also within them, and it's something that you can share. And you know this. You know this intuitively. It's just something that you've been avoiding addressing. It's a big feeling. It's very intense. And the idea of surrendering to it, feeling it, moving through it, it feels a little bit overwhelming. But another part of you knows that this is called for, that you've got this, knows that this is part of your life. Some of you even know who this person is that you're calling in already. Maybe consciously, maybe subconsciously. But some of you know them physically. Some of you just know them in spirit, though. You've seen them, you've felt them in dreams. I hear you feeling an electric spark, feeling like the crackle of a fire. You're reaching towards this connection in some way. Maybe it's your higher self, like from that perspective. But until you let go of the fear surrounding it, it's going to, sort of like stay at the end of your fingertips. You have to accept and welcome in this idea that the happiness you've created for yourself that it is capable of being reflected back to you in the same way. There's this feeling of like fear of another person like draining it out of you, like not matching your energy, but draining it instead. And if you sit in your fear of that, it will create that scenario for you. But if you're willing to accept the warmth and the light, the joy of the sun, part of you knows that you will receive that back. And that's why you're here. That's why you're moving in this direction. Because Scorpio is one of the most intuitive energies. You know way more than you give yourself credit for. These thoughts, these fears, that's not from your soul. That's not from your place of wisdom. That's from your place of protection. And the only thing it's protecting you from now at this point that you're at is moving into this step of attracting your counterpart, like having the actual coming together between you, rather than like still feeling an element of separation. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, like I've literally the last word that came out of my mouth was separation. You've been experiencing this separation, this time apart. Like that's why you've been alone essentially. And that's going to continue until you release your fears and doubts about what could be. And yeah, there is this element of freeing yourself. This is a really like freeing yourself, like liberating card. What you're freeing yourself from is this 9 of Swords, 5 of Cups energy. The pain, the confusion, the fear. Because you have control of your life. You put yourself in isolation. You're capable of bringing yourself out of that separation, of aligning with your feelings, the spark of passion that you feel when you interact with another person. And I'm getting this is a specific person. That's, you have to give this relationship a chance. If you're sitting by yourself, like worrying about all the things that could go wrong, like that's literally the opposite energy of giving this a chance. The work you've done internally was not meant only for you to sit with and enjoy, but to be shared with another person. That's why you're feeling this call, this pull to branch out and connect with someone. You're calling them towards you and they're being magnetized. And oh my God, I just keep getting, there's so many of you like know who this person is. Maybe it's also this energy for some of you that some of you know you have this spark, this like feeling good, feeling really right and good around this person, but that something about them, like you haven't considered them as a partner in this way. You haven't given them the chance, you haven't given them the opportunity to show up in your life in the way that they're meant to. You've kept them at arm's length to some degree. You've allowed barriers and obstacles to stay in place because that feels safer, that feels more manageable. It feels more stable for where you're at because it's not creating any change. When you keep those barriers up, nothing can get in, nothing can get out, nothing is changing, and you're being called to make changes. Okay. All right, that's what we have coming out. First house, trine, sextile, north node, debilitated, 8th house. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, like you've really been working on your own growth yourself, and you have arrived at a place where essentially you feel good, but then now your next task is to like relate in harmony with another person, like to have a symbiotic relationship, not just within yourself, but like with like in the outside as well. This is the future that you are called to move towards, is like being in a partnership. Maybe your north node is in Libra. Maybe you're having like your nodal opposition right now. Like this is a very uncomfortable process for you. Letting go of fear, letting go of things that you feel doubtful about is always very uncomfortable. It's always very difficult until you've just practiced it so much that it's like there's this energy that you're like, just like, yeah, whatever. Okay, I'll give surrendering a try. It's worked every other time. Sometimes that doesn't make it easier to like literally like let go, because the mind has such a propensity to hold on to feelings, especially ones that are that feel very deep and dark, like 8th house. That's like Scorpio's domain. The level of depth that you're being called to explore, like you've explored the depths of yourself, but like within yourself, but it's this calling to explore the depths of yourself within another person. Since we're all essentially the same organism in a way, it's really taking that same process like to the next level, like going just as deep with another person as you have yourself. And that sounds just beautiful. It does sound like it could get a little uncomfortable, but like one of those things that like the experience is worth all of the difficulty that it brings. Okay, I wish things could be different. I wish I had treated you better. I want you. I feel you leaving me behind. We need to let each other go. I'm getting a really strong message from this, that what I was touching on with this Nine of Swords, Five of Cups, that this fear that you're holding on to is related to a past hurt, a past issue in relationships. I know, like Scorpio, you've got a tendency to be very distrustful of others once something has occurred. And, the fear of that same thing occurring with someone else can be incredibly pervasive and sort of find you in a position where that fear is controlling your life. And something we read, you're being asked to take control back of your life. And this person that you're like letting their energy of the pain go, because like you've relived that in your head and held on to it, like kept it fresh. And when you let that go, they know that connection is still there. They still feel that because you're keeping it alive with the thought, with the memory of the experience. But when you decide to let that go and truly move on and open yourself to having a new and different experience with someone else, that past person that was the source of that hurt is going to feel that release, to feel that like a breaking of that tether, a cutting of that cord energetically between you. And that's what's going to sort of be like the turning point. Like when you sever that, it releases you from keeping those thoughts fresh. It opens your mind, your senses to new energy. I'm getting, this is that person too. You came closer than anyone. This person was not ready for your depth, Scorpio. They let you closer than anyone, and then they got uncomfortable. They got really uncomfortable. They wished that they could be more comfortable with you being so close, with having such an intense relationship, but they were not ready for it. They were not ready for the depth of emotion that you had to offer, Scorpio, and they hid behind their material life. They made some sort of like practical, like money related, maybe logistically related excuse as to why that relationship had to end. And you were incredibly hurt by that, because you wanted to move closer. You wanted to share that depth with this person, and it was not meant to be with that person for some of you. For others of you though, this person coming back around. And this person that was afraid of the intensity you offered before, things have, as you have been growing and healing, things have changed in their life as well. They're having some regrets about the decisions that they made about not addressing this sooner, doing things differently. They wish they had been more open and treating you better because they want you now. So that's, just to be clear, there's two different energies going on there for different scenarios. For some of you, this past situation is not your person, and what I've just described is sort of like the background, like some of the source of the pain that you're feeling, that you're letting go of, to move on to connecting with someone that is ready for your level of depth and wants to, is willing to receive it. And for others of you, these are the same person that realizes they weren't ready, they made a mistake, and they are coming to a place where they're ready to progress this forward now. Like that's how some of you know who it is, because they've been in your life before. They sort of helped you latch on to this pain, this doubt, this fear. But for others of you, it's just someone that you know, that you haven't considered in that way before because you've been hung up in that past energy. Okay. So if this reading resonated with you, please give it a like, comment down below, share with someone, subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so, and I will see you next week. Bye, Scorpio.